I'm Jim Kruger. I'm a writer of comics and film and animation and television, and there's nothing that excites me more than the hero's journey. Everything I ever write about is the hero's journey, and for me, it's the one thing that matters most. Whether I'm writing Batman or Superman or Justice League or Buffy the Vampire Slayer or Star Wars. To me, in the end, if I'm going to be moved by a story, it's going to be because one person in that story, or maybe more than one person in that story, are going to be moved to do something extraordinary. What is a hero? What do I think a hero is? You know, I used to think it was someone who was brave and courageous and more clever than others and able to see all the greater good and able to jump in given any scenario, any situation. And I just don't think that's the case anymore, because those kind of characters, even in story, never change. They're never transformed by their actions. They're good at the beginning and they're good at the end, and they do good throughout. No, I think being a hero is a much more complex, much more interesting scenario. It's a person who, even if it's for a moment, is surprised by what they are able to do. It's always the person you least suspect rising to something, being transformed by a given set of circumstance to do the thing that has to be done for the good of others, for the good of someone else. And maybe the most amazing thing is the hero is a person who, looking back upon what they just did, says, you know, how did I ever do that? That's not even me. And that makes for something really exciting in a story, in life, in everything. And that's another reason I'm obsessed with stories of heroism. DC Comics' Neil Adams recently said that we think maybe, if the conditions present themselves, we'll be the hero of the moment. That's what Hero Cam is all about. It's about capturing on film those moments when someone makes a difference in someone else's life, because let's face it, anyone can be a hero. The new Hero Cam TV show has two components. The first is the Hero Cam hidden camera segment. The second is the Hero Cam Spotlight feature, hosted by Megan Alexander. This focuses on a real-life hero who is doing something in the world to make it a better place.
In this Hero Cam hidden camera segment, our actor Teddy is pretending to be a homeless man. He's asking people if they'd be kind enough to buy him a bottle of water or give him $1 to buy some. Our production assistant Brian is usually first to inform the Good Samaritans that they're on the new Hero Cam TV show. Our beautiful Hero Cam girl Eliza then rewards them with a check for $1,000 for their good deed.
Hey, can you help me out? Can you buy me water?
Right.
Can you buy me water?
Why, you have no money?
No, I have no money. I'm homeless. I'm down and out. Can you buy me water? Thank you very much.
All right, Teddy, you got it.
All right.
Thank you very much. Good job. Good sir.
No, listen.
You were just on the new Hero Cam TV show. Thank you for participating.
Thank you very much.
Let you know there's a camera right here. There's also a camera on top of the building over there.
Baby, can you buy me a bottle of water? Give me $1 for a bottle of water. Sure.
Congratulations, you're my hero. You're on the brand new Hero Cam TV show. What's your name?
Hugo.
Hugo. Wendy.
Darian.
Darian, it's nice to meet you guys. So what made you decide to buy a stranger a bottle of water today?
I had the cash in my pocket, and I don't know, just good gesture, I guess. I just decided to give him $1.
How you doing, sir? Can you do me a favor? Can you give me $1 for a bottle of water, or buy me a bottle of water?
Congratulations,
Okay.
You're my hero.
Okay.
You're on the brand new Hero Cam TV show. What's your name?
Brandon Rivera.
Brandon, it's very nice to meet you. And what inspired you to be a Good Samaritan today?
I always do that. I could share $1.
I need a water. Can you give me $1 for water? Can you buy me a water for the hot dog stand? Thank you very much. Thank you. Hey, you're on hidden camera. Come here. You're on hidden camera.
Yeah,
Congratulations, you're my hero.
Thank you.
You're on the brand new Hero Cam TV show. And what's your guys' names?
I'm Henry.
I'm Sam. Greg. Ashley. And Diane.
It's nice to meet all you guys. And why did you stop and help a stranger today?
Well, you know, he asked for water, and I think when somebody asks you for something like that, you should help. Well, you know, when they ask for money, it's a different story. But, you know, to do a good deed is to do a good deed.
Congratulations, you're my hero.
Thank you.
You're on the brand new Hero Cam TV show. What's your name?
My name is Dave.
Dave. And what made you buy a stranger a bottle of water today?
Well, you know, it's always good to help people when they feel they need it. And I'm always the kind of guy who, you know, sometimes I move to do it and sometimes I'm not. But most of the time I am on a good day, I move to do it. So it's always good to help somebody out if, you know, they need it.
Hi, miss. Can you do me a favor? Can you buy me a bottle of water? I'm very thirsty. Buy me a bottle of water. Give me $1 for a bottle of water. You don't have it? Have water? Hey, how you doing? Can you do me a favor? Can you give me $1 for water or buy me a water? I'm homeless. Yeah, okay. Okay. Wait.
The Hero Cam Spotlight feature focuses on a real-life hero who is doing something to make the world a better place. This week's guest is Dr. David Anderson, East Coast president of Master Media International.
I think that's really neat to hear, Dr. Anderson, that you came from a background where you weren't necessarily involved in media. You were a pastor, but you found out about this organization. And tell those folks that are watching specifically what Master Media International does and the duties of your job, how you interact with some folks that many of our audience would be familiar with, some very famous names, as you mentioned.
Sure.
What do you do for Master Media?
Well, boy, a lot of different roles that I play. One of them is meeting one-on-one with people of the media. A lot of times it's a lunch or it's a dinner together or even a breakfast together. In fact, we've had breakfast one or two times. And it's there that I see my role as just being to build relationships, to be available. And I guess the word chaplain is the word that kind of fits, that I hope that in some way I could minister spiritually to those that I'm in contact with. My meetings take place with people of just about every different persuasion spiritually. I pastored as a Presbyterian for many years, but I pastored to people from just about any background of life. So we're not set with one denomination or even one of the different faiths. So it's reaching out to people with the love of God, to people of every different background in the media.
What has surprised you the most in getting to know people in the industry?
Well, I think part of it has been finding, you have this image of people who you see on television that immediately, for us, they're a different world apart. Once you get to know people, we're all the same, and we all are fighting the same battles. We're dealing with the same things in life as everybody else is, and so I think that that's a part of it. And those struggles are just as real for them as it is for anyone else.
Mm-hmm. What is your thought and view on some of the positive television that we've seen lately? For example, the Oprah Winfrey Show, some of the morning television shows. You often hear from people, oh, the news is nothing but bad news. Mm-hmm. But there are some really quality programs right now that are trying to bring positive news to people, like Oprah Winfrey. What are your thoughts on that?
I can watch what she is doing, and I can see that she really has a heart for wanting to make a difference in a positive way, to encourage people to love and to forgive. And I think that's wonderful because the power of the media is just such a tremendous power that we have. And certainly God has put her into a place where she wields awesome power in the media world. And the fact that she wants to use that power for good as she sees it, you know, it wouldn't necessarily always be exactly the way I would see it, but I just have to say I have great admiration and respect for that. And more power to her and to others who would seek to use the media for positive, uplifting purposes.
You know, you've heard the saying, character is who you are when no one is watching. And we're going to bring cameras out and film people where they're put in situations where somebody needs a good Samaritan. Somebody's in need, and let's see how the public reacts. Are they going to help the person, or are they going to walk on by? What do you think about that, about seeing human nature at work, if people will help their fellow man or not? What do you think about that?
This is exactly what we need to be doing. This is putting the media to good use, using the power of media for positive purposes. And I can't help but think when I envision this program in my own mind and what's being done, I think back to years ago, one of my favorite programs, Candid Camera. So I remember the Candid Camera shows with Alan Funt. Boy, that ages me, doesn't it? But what a terrific show. And this is kind of a new take on it, and putting I mean, Candid Camera was basically for laughs, but now here's taking and using an idea, but expanding it over to doing something positive with that idea that Alan Funt used simply for entertainment purposes, and using it to inspire people to do good. Mm-hmm. That's terrific.
I think we may be pleasantly surprised, too. I think there are enough good people in the world that want to help, and it'll be exciting to see and be encouraged by those people that do help out. Also, you can't argue with a reward of $1,000.
$1,000 sounds good to me.
That's nice. We could all use that nowadays.
Yeah.
And then the second part of the program being what we are doing right now, which is the HeroCam Spotlight feature, a way that maybe you watching, or if you know of someone, nominating somebody that you think is making a difference in the world and giving back to the community and being a part of that positive programming. I know one of the reasons that you were selected, Dr. Anderson, is because you really have a heart for the next generation. You want to mentor those students right now that could be the next Oprah Winfrey in 20, 30, 40 years down the road. Talk about the way that you've been able to come alongside the next generation, whether it's through internships or just encouragement. Why do you have a heart for helping the next group that's coming up?
Well, you know, I can't help but remember the words of a professor that I had many years ago. And he was asked one day by one of the members of the class who said something like this. He said, Professor, you have the opportunity with your skills and your abilities to be rather a big name out there. Why aren't you doing that as compared to here in the classroom with us? And I remember his response. He said, I'd rather be a kingmaker than be a king. And I loved those words. And in some ways, I'd like to see the role that I've been given as that, to be in a place where I can help young people and lift them up and just kind of be behind the scenes, seeing how their skills and abilities could be put to use for positive purposes.
My next question was about Walt Disney and the power of a dream, and somebody that has impacted our society so greatly, especially in the entertainment industry. And you think about Walt Disney, and he says it all began with a mouse.
Yeah.
Along the lines of encouraging the next generation who could be the next Walt Disney, what are your thoughts on just the power of dreams and never giving up?
Wow. Well, when you see Walt Disney and how his work impacted me as a boy, there were some heroes. And again, I'm going to date myself and say I remember Davy Crockett. And I remember as a boy, I don't think I ever managed to get the coonskin hat, but what a hero that man was. And Walt Disney was always, I think, seeing what he did as impact. In fact, I remember reading someplace that he had talked about how the work of the media does impact the life of young people. And so that was a concern that he had, a concern that wouldn't you love to see it more and more in the media world today.
Fantastic. Dr. Anderson, thank you so much for sharing with us today a bit of your story. You are a hero to many, and that's why you're being featured today. So continue the good work.
Oh, thank you, Megan. You're a blessing to me.
Thank you. Really appreciate it. And if you know anybody out there, like a Dr. Anderson, who you would like to see highlighted in this Hero Cam Spotlight feature, I want to give you the proper information. Please email HeroCam@scottcarneymedia.com. Again, that's HeroCam@scottcarneymedia.com. We look forward to sitting down with someone who you consider a hero and continuing to highlight the people who are making a positive difference in our world. Thanks for joining us today. We'll see you next time.
I'm looking for